So, welcome back
Hey!
to the Sundays and Dragons podcast. Today, which is the January 20th, our first episode of Grayhalt has hit YouTube. The next two parts will come out this Wednesday and then Friday. So you guys won't actually see this until next Sunday, which is okay.
We won't spoil anything for you, hopefully.
Well, they can't see it until
they can't
Sunday
see it
anyway.
yet, so
Twitter.
yeah, but still. They're not going to see this one until next
I
Sunday.
think I've posted
They'll have seen the other two
I've
parts
posted like
by now.
one thing on Twitter since I've been on Twitter.
Yeah, true. Wyler has actually taken over mine and Ian's Twitter responsibilities so that he can interact with the peeps a little bit more than what me and Ian have, because Ian's back doing school stuff, and then I'm either watching kids, working, or prepping D&D stuff or editing videos now.
I don't social media very much.
Follow
None of us really social media very much.
I printed out flyers and put them around various places. I
is
do
very
it
cool.
old school ways.
Very cool. But so last episode, 4 interesting individuals came together. Camren being the high servant of the queen, Ilsara. Then we had a drunken monk named Stoica that was living on the streets of Grayhalt, a dwarven lady of the Obsidian clan from the Bright Spring Mountains that had traveled down to Grayhalt, and then a traveler from the Tower of the Moon Maiden. So, you graduated to become a traveler whenever we started the campaign, and you traveled to Grayhalt along with Gwenn, who was your escort.
So far, so good.
Mm-hmm. And you met our main man Camren over here, and also at the same time as you entered the gates, met the drunken monk. Gwenn and Stoica, you guys interviewed for positions in the castle, being bodyguards for the queen. Something that apparently many people have tried, but it hasn't went well, and things really didn't go well. So I don't know how you want to judge your first week on the job or not.
I mean, she's alive.
Do we get a performance review?
Right. Not yet.
Monthly performance. Okay.
So you
Our job
guys.
was to watch her, not him.
So you guys
What kind of
explored.
PTO do we have? Do we get dental?
Maybe. So you guys explored Castle Grayhalt. You explored the town below a little bit. You did some drinking in the round. Oh God, I forgot the tavern's name.
The round table.
The round.
The round
oh
frog.
goodness,
Dark Age of
no.
Camelot.
Oh, this is terrible. It
The
was
spitting frog.
The round troll.
The round troll.
Yeah, round troll.
Wow.
Well, what kind of troll is straight?
The town below. There we go. The Round Troll Tavern. How did I've made a lot
Yeah.
of stuff, so I don't feel so bad.
Garrick got fucking lit.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of development early on. You guys were just exploring, doing some bodyguarding. Camren, you were off. What everybody eventually found out, not everybody, but the people that are watching and listening, is that you were having an affair with the queen, as that's exactly where we picked up in the beginning of your story. What set off some pretty terrifying, crazy events was a natural one rolled in the bedchamber of Arthand. The king found you and his lady out, and the next day, you were summoned by the king, expecting some bad things to happen, but not expecting how bad things truly were. You found Lady Ilsara in his chambers, in the corner, grasping a dagger, blood-soaked. You looked back to Arthand, who was sitting in his high-backed chair, realizing that he was barely breathing, and upon pulling away his cover that was covering the bottom part of his torso, you found several stab wounds in his belly. You got out of there. Ilsara told you to run. And you did, kind of going and cleaning up, heading back into the castle. Things went very crazy for a few minutes as the queen was apprehended, locked up in her chambers. The kids were found, Thomas, of course, taking lead on, the responsibilities of what was to come, but you, pulling him aside, explained what had happened, per se. And he believed you. Some good checks there. So, some really bad rolls early on last session, but good checks when it mattered. And he seemed to believe you. But what transpired, not only did the king the new king, Thomas Grayhalt, you know, he let his mother go, had her unshackled, wasn't going to throw her in the dungeon and all that, but he also immediately, kind of his first ruling was that the wedding to Bess Hart was not going to take place. The church was to vacate Grayhalt. They will not have any influence over the Grayhalts anymore because they are the ruling family. And that's kind of where the session ended as Stoica and Gwenn gazed up upon the raised dais in the Black Hall, looking at Thomas Grayhalt and Camren Wyvernbender. Is it Weavernbender or Wyvernbender? How do you pronounce it?
I mean, you can go either way. I would say Weavernbender, but I know Cosgrove is saying Wyvern.
Cosgrove calls you Wyvern.
Yeah.
So Mr. Wyvern and Thomas, you both noticed that they looked awfully similar, from the color of their eyes to the color of their hair and how they stood. With that, it's been about 3 days since the death of the king. Camren, you
3 days after death.
Yes. You three, Stoica, Gwenn, and Garrick, you have left the castle and have been staying in some of the rooms at the Round Troll Tavern.
Oh, I've been getting drunk every night.
Excuse me. Yes, you have been indulging women and drink and, you know, getting to know the real world as you've been not in captivity, but stuck behind tower walls for a long time. Ilsara just didn't have any need for you in her state, so that's why you guys were sent down there for the time being. Camren has been paying for everything with the crown's gold.
Yeah, free booze, free sex.
Yep.
What else?
You're welcome.
But Camren, a private ceremony was held to raise Thomas's position to that of the new king of the region of Grayhalt. It was private because of the circumstances surrounding it. He just didn't feel it would be right to publicly name himself as king and be inaugurated with the circumstances of his father being killed by his mother. Word has gotten around town. Lots of people know mostly what happened, that the queen did kill the king, but out of self-defense. Some people are on both sides of this, knowing that the wedding's coming up, because most people in this region are avid believers of the Moon Maiden. So Thomas Grayhalt saying that the church is to leave the castle, you know, that has caused quite an uproar among the citizens. Camren, you have been damage control. That's what you've been doing. Moving Thomas's things about to his new study, to his office, helping him any way that you can. Not really having a lot of one-on-one with him, though. Anytime that you have tried, he's kind of pushed it off. He's been very busy. Casgro has been relieved of his duties. He is now overseeing Ilsara, and Ilsara you have not seen these past 3 days. She's been locked in her room, probably grieving. So you've just been very busy. You've also, a note, you've sent out several letters to the other lesser lords of the region. Felsire, Olland, and to the city of Glanchester, to Bess Hart's father, which is, I forgot, Luckless Heart. They are all coming to the capital because Thomas was raised king without the other lesser nobles giving their grace to it, consent.
Luckless is an asshole.
Luckless. Yeah. Luckless Heart. Luckless Heart is one of the Moon Maiden priests. So they're on their way. They will be here within about 3 days. All together. Some may arrive earlier. But at this time, before I jump into some stuff with Camren, Garrick, Stoica, Gwenn, is there anything that you guys have wanted to do the past couple days that we can say that you have taken care of? And just in case there's any roles that need to be done, any shopping or anything like that. Yes.
So what am I right now?
You have no position exactly right now. You have not been given a title. You were just taking care of everything. You haven't even really advised the king. You're watching the servants. You're making sure all the wedding decorations and stuff are coming down. The food is going where it needs to be redistributed.
Like at a fast food restaurant when they're short-staffed and you just work
right. You're like staff manager right now. But is there anything that anybody wanted to do in those 3 days downtime? You've been busy, Camren, so you're not getting this opportunity to do anything too crazy. You can tell me a few things if you want. But is there anything that you guys have been doing other than just bunking up at the tavern? Was there any conversations you guys wanted to have about what has happened? We'll get back to you guys momentarily after Camren, but just if there's anything that was done in the past 3 days.
I think the only thing I want to do is try to find a rapier. Get a rapier.
Rapier?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Strength is ass.
I actually have meant to pull my shopping doc.
Shopping?
Yep, from Google Docs and put it down in my OneNote folder. So let me go and pull it up for you. We'll see how much it costs.
Please stand by.
Oh, you're fine. We'll say for the purposes of this, it is day 3. We started on Tuesday and went into Wednesday, so it is now Saturday. So if there's anything that you guys wanted to talk about, you can.
I wanted to hang out in the library.
You two can come and go from the castle still. You're still considered on the payroll. You're just not actually working.
Yeah.
So you can definitely do that.
Okay. I'm gonna hang out in the castle, and I'm gonna
stuck in
be
the city.
reading in the library.
Is there anything specific that you're looking for? Or wanting to read into?
I'm reading into spells.
Interesting. Looking for like scrolls and things? Go ahead and roll me an investigation check. That's an interesting one. 25 gold will get you a rapier.
How much gold do I have?
How much gold do you have?
You've never paid me.
You came into this with no gold.
I didn't.
If you wanted to submit,
It was 15 gold a day, wasn't it?
I'm not a bodyguard.
They, yes.
Oh, that's right.
They both have been paid once. And she had a little bit of silver on the side. But you came into this with none. If you wanted to send word to Camren that you're looking for provisions, you can write a number down of how much you're looking for, and we will see how much he sends you back.
Right, I'll just do that.
So how much would you ask from the crown?
To be worthwhile, I think it'd be fair if I got paid the same as the bodyguard, so 15 gold.
Okay.
Especially since I came all this way and now there's no wedding for me to attend. And I gotta
So
live.
they've been paying your room and board, they've been paying for your drinks and your food. So you submit that you're wanting to gain kind of a weekly wage, at least for, what you were promised to be here, overseeing the wedding, even though that has come to an end. But the king kind of doesn't even pay attention to this request. It is brought up during one of the meetings, but Camren does send you a small pouch down to Ragna at the Round Troll containing 50 gold pieces.
Excellent.
Investigation check?
Okay. I got a unnatural 20.
Okay. So looking around, you don't find much in the way of spell scrolls or anything like that. You do ask around, and there is histories of spells and things like that, maybe some old spell books, but it's nothing that you quite understand. What is your class?
She's a ranger.
You're a ranger, right? So, with the ranger, you know that do you have any spells yet? You're level 2.
Level 2, you get spells.
Yeah.
Have you chosen your spells, by the way?
Probably
Yeah,
not.
I got good berry and cure wounds.
Nice. Those are good.
So most of those, knowing that you are a ranger, it's kind of an innate thing. So adding spells to your repertoire would have to come, if you were a wizard, then we could talk about maybe procuring some spells to add to your collection. As a ranger, you might want to look for someone kind of like you to see if you can gain further knowledge. A lot about the history of the land, which is a lot of the stuff that I sent in the original Google Doc to you guys. But yeah, 25 gold. If you would like to roll a persuasion check, you might be able to get it down a little bit.
Sure, I'll try that.
Sure, go right ahead.
Can't hurt.
Right.
15.
Of course not. 15.
Yeah, I got a -2.
Ooh, all right, 10. So you get 5 gold knocked off the price.
Just 10.
It
Nice.
seems that the individual that you're talking to, and let's find out where you would have went to get this. You, sir, would have went to Gersa's Oddities, local trade shop. It's on, so it's kind of on the main street. They're really close to the Church of the Moon Maiden. It's a 1-story building of timber and brick walls, got a red roof. What's interesting is when you walk in, the floor is kind of made of this multicolored mosaic kind of tile style. And
The
what's
church
even
or the shop?
the shop.
Oh.
And what's even more interesting is there's kind of this strange smoke and smells about the area, though you don't really see any candles or incense, anything like that burning. But it is a male gnome named Gursa, and he seems to be kind of an avid worshiper of the Moon Maiden. So whenever you ask if you can knock off the price
so
a little bit,
I got connections.
Yeah.
All right.
so that's what happened. Did you want to look into anything?
Probably just check on Zerla.
You can roll an investigation check.
After that, I think now that I know there's a chapel of the Moon Maiden, I think I'm gonna
There
go
is.
spend some time in there,
Got a 10.
A 10?
talking with some followers.
Looking
and such.
around, looking around town. You haven't seen Zerla since you started a couple weeks ago. You started going real heavy on the drink.
Yeah.
Down in your luck, and she's one of your better friends, but she was leaving you to your own devices, kind of to let you find your own path.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So you haven't been able to find her thus far, but you are looking. With that, Camren, you, sir, have been summoned to, it would be the northeast portion of the castle, out through that exit, up on the hill that overlooks the river Nilthar. Apparently Thomas has just finished up with his morning sparring session and has requested your presence.
Okay.
So what would you like to do?
I'll go ahead and go there.
Okay.
And smoke my pipe along the way.
Smoking your pipe along the way? So, you start to head that way. And it's kind of a surreal thing. They're working very well within the castle. Even though something tragic has happened, all the servants and everything have been kind of whipped back into, that's probably not the best word to say, have been thrown back into their ways quite well. Everything's going smooth, which is kind of odd. And in the back of your mind, you wish that you have been able to speak to Ilsara by this point, but you haven't. And that, kind of pains your heart a little bit. This would be the first time that you've actually talked to Thomas in 3 days as well. So, you make it out that side of the castle, and you start to walk up the hill. And it's a nice day. It's kind of cool. There's a nice breeze, and you can smell just, all the goodness around the castle. There's many of the cooks cooking. There's a lot. This is next to the garden, so it's nice. Even though a lot of crazy things have happened. But as you're making your way up, you notice on one of the larger oak trees that are up on this hill, a curious hawk seems to be sitting there staring at the figure of Thomas, who has his back to you. He's kind of in a parade rest, hands behind his back, legs kind of out wide, overlooking the river. He is in his sparring clothing, which is just kind of a loose tunic, dark pants and boots. He's got a long spear sitting off to the side next to him on a small bench.
Gosh, I got a spear.
I continue to walk up to him.
And you notice as you're walking, well, roll for me a perception check.
One.
Yeah, no, this would be the way to do it. There's another one. I
15.
want ones. 15. You notice that the hawk... Oh, you're good. You notice that the hawk never seems to take its eyes off of Thomas. Very resolute in its position right now. But you get closer, and Thomas has undone the long braids of his hair, and they're just kind of cascaded down, flowing in the wind at this point. He doesn't move as you approach. Where exactly are you wanting to position yourself as you walk up to him?
Right next to him, to his right.
Okay. So you come up to his right, and he does look over. Morning.
Morning, Lord. How you doing?
Well enough. And you?
Considering the events of the past 3 days, I'm better.
Better. That's interesting. And he's gazing down at the river. Just kind of, almost like he has tunnel vision. A lot of things on his mind.
Anything you need to get off your chest, my lord?
Roll for me another perception check.
Natty 1.
Okay. Yeah, you notice nothing. So Thomas finally lets his hands down to his side. He brings them around front and kind of crosses his arms, and he turns to you, and he looks down for a moment, almost shyly, awkward in a way, but then it's almost as if he realizes who he is, and he stands up tall. Would you like to pour your juice?
Maybe.
Go ahead and pour it. Come on. Come on. This is something that we do, before we start playing.
He brought it.
I know.
You asked me if I wanted it, and I agreed because I did.
It's okay. It's okay. Just trying to get through the distraction so we can continue role playing.
Let's do it, man.
So, he turns to you, does as I said, and he looks you in the eyes. I have summoned you because I want to know everything that happened that night. Again, from you. Word for word.
What was my story again?
Oh, he wants to see if you can remember.
So that because the king was assassinated that morning, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But that night, prior?
He did ask. He wants to know. I want to know everything that happened the night prior and into the morning. That you know of, Camren.
Well, my lord, I was summoned by Lady Ilsara to discuss some affairs for the wedding.
And?
Well, your father came in drunk and tried to slap her. Did. And me having no power to do anything, and kind of caught in the moment, ran.
Go and give me a deception check.
Hey, hell yeah. Unnatural 20.
And you didn't think to tell anyone about this? Me? Castro, even my sister? Glar? I understand why you wouldn't. I'm just curious.
It was all in the moment. I was thrown out of my right mind. In the morning, I composed myself and came to the castle to confront our late King Arthund when the events that I had told you earlier transpired.
Which were?
Your mother had stabbed your father in the gut.
And what did you do?
I ran to her side. And she told me to run.
Persuasion check. Because that's truth. You rolling
16.
better today? He turns back to the river. I'm in my 20th year of life, Camren. You've been here my whole life, kind of like an uncle. You know that travelers have came and gone from the castle, correct? Clerics of the Moon Maiden?
Why, yes. Are you referring to Garrick?
No, just the ones that have come and gone before him. The ones that have taught me and my sister and I all there is to know of the Moon Maiden. I've learned quite a many things from them, Camren. Quite a many interesting powers. one of which has allowed me to speak with Arthent, to speak with the dead.
Oh, shit.
I was there when they laid him beneath the castle, and I had everyone leave, and I spoke to him. And I'm curious as to why you are lying to me. I know everything, Camren.
Damn. I've been caught.
I know that you've been sleeping with my mother. I know you weren't discussing wedding affairs the night that my father came bursting into that room. So, why? Why lie to me?
Honestly, Lord Thomas, I've been lying about it for so long that it almost came naturally. Your mother and I have been in love for many a year. Since before...
Probably even before I was born. Correct?
Since before your mother married Arthund.
I'm not an idiot. I do not have the characteristics of Arthund, Camren. I am no fool. And he reaches his hand out to shake yours.
And I do.
And he pulls you in to a hug. Father. And he pushes you back. You have been relieved of your position, Camren. You have been elevated to my advisor. But I need none. You are free to do as you will. Oversee the castle if you must. But unless I call for you, you have nothing further to do. And for the time being, you will stay away from my mother. And once I have calmed down from knowing of all the lies that you have spun, then maybe we can reconcile. Is that understood? Is that understood, Camren?
Yes,
you stay away
Lord.
from Ilsara.
Yes, my lord.
And he turns back to the river again. Do you spar?
Every now and then. My old bones, it's not as good as I once was.
Tomorrow morning, the barracks. Meet me there, and we can begin this reconciliation.
As you wish.
You're gonna kick your ass till it heals better.
You may leave.
Understood.
I have found a small home in town that has been rented out. And as you're walking away, he throws over a ring of keys. You catch it. You and your friends, your new friends, the monk, the dwarven lady, and the traveler, if he wishes to stay in Grayhalt, have reign over this home. But none of you are welcome in the castle this day.
Oh, shit. Damn.
I will see you in the morning. We will discuss more. But do me a favor and don't lie to me again. I am your king now.
Understood.
Look at me.
I am the king. I am the king now.
What do you do?
I walk away. I'm like...
Roll for me another perception check as you do.
I don't know what to say. As Camren, I'd be stunned.
Fuck, he knows.
A perception check?
Yes.
17.
That hawk is still in the tree. And for a moment, you see green wisps on the air around the tree that's blowing through the leaves. And you think you see a small shadowy form behind the hawk. But then it's gone. And the hawk takes to the sky. You continue up?
Yeah.
So meanwhile, down at the Round Troll, you have come back with your new rapier and are examining it. It'll work well enough. It's
Look. I got a new blade.
Very nice poking stick.
I like to poke things.
You do like to poke things.
Sheath it.
Mm-hmm.
You hit things with wood, a stick, if you will.
Yeah,
Are
stop
you
that way.
actually going to use this, or are you just going to wield it and play with it like that mace?
I mean, I beat you, didn't I?
That was one time. Need to learn some modesty there, Garrick.
That's not modesty, it's only logical.
It was luck.
Luck doesn't exist with logic.
Wow, that past hour you
Wrong.
haven't touched a drink, so that's good.
No, I haven't been drinking that much. I only drink at night.
He's almost on your level, and then I punch him in the shoulder.
He's got a ways to go. You don't want to be where I was at.
Yeah.
Where were you at?
I'll look to out the window to the alleyway. Oh, you know, over there.
The other table?
In the alleyway.
What were you doing there?
Passed out.
Did someone hit you?
More like the alcohol hit me.
They hit you over the head with a bottle then?
No, more the alcohol I was drinking hit me. And,
Oh, you did it to yourself?
Yeah.
Well, that's just silly.
Self-inflicted wounds, man.
I have that spell.
And the entire time I'm just trying to think, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink, don't drink.
Do you want a drink?
I'm gonna roll for that.
Sure.
He wants that drink.
I'll have that wisdom. It's a 6. A little bit shouldn't hurt.
I hand him a mead. On the house.
It's good mead, man.
Mm-hmm. It's really good meat.
It's been really hard, Stoica, as the crown has been paying for your drinks and food.
Yeah.
So why have you...
You've been indulging.
Why have you left the tower? You never told me really exactly what happened.
I was a rebellious student. I kept wandering off out of the grounds into the woods.
They don't like you to leave the tower too much.
No, they don't. They want you to stay there and, learn the stuff they want you to learn.
I didn't leave the tower. I learned a lot.
Then I would question the instructors about everything, even things you shouldn't question about.
As?
Why they don't let dwarves enter the Moon Maiden.
That's a valid question. I don't know.
It seems the tower doesn't like our compadre and
I don't think a lot of people like dwarves. I have no quarrel with them. They seem simple, easy to get along with, straight to the point, and I like that in a lot of people.
And they're expert craftsmen. Look at the castle.
It's because we
I
know
wasn't
the
too impressed with
secrets.
the castle. Was the tower built by dwarves?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All the settlements and the tower, the bridges, it was all built by the clans of the Obsidian. Yes. But as you guys are speaking, you, Garrick, because you're my passive perception guy, aren't you?
You got
Or
my
who
20.
is? Yeah, I thought so. You notice coming into the door, he's a short elven individual, and it catches you off for an elf because he's very rotund, which isn't very normal for an elf.
No.
But he appears to be kind of in his midlife. He's got a thick blue robe about him, and he's wearing these thick glasses, and you see this kind of over gaudy relic of the Moon Maiden that's kind of his holy symbol hanging down amid his chest.
So look at this fella.
I'm looking for Garrick.
He's right there.
Well, you're just gonna point me out then, aren't you?
I mean,
Traveler,
Drink your mead.
I am one of the high priests here in Grayhalt.
And?
And you bow to your elders, boy.
Okay.
Do you?
No.
Rebellious traveler. Young ones, do you mind if we speak outside away from the riffraff?
These aren't riffraff. These people follow the Moon Maiden just as you and I do.
Felseer has wished to give you word. Are you coming or not?
Then I'll speak to Felseer. You're rather rude.
Wow. So you're really going after this guy. You know that, so just go ahead and roll for me a history check.
Wasn't that great. I'm not proficient in history. It's intelligence. 5.
5, yeah, you don't recognize this individual. He looks to be one of the higher-ups in the Tower of the Moon Maiden, though. By the way that he's dressed. And you don't have to roll that high to know this. Speaking out of turn to one of this guy's station usually doesn't go well. But is that how you're gonna proceed? Essentially, you're talking up to an elder.
Okay. Well, I'll follow then.
Good. And he walks outside, just getting away from those that can hear. You ready for your word then, or do you have anything else smart to say?
No, I'm not very smart.
I can see that. Finneseer has called all in Grayhalt that worship the Moon Maiden and all her travelers and wandering priests back to the tower. You ought to pack your things and get on the caravan that is leaving this evening. And,
I'm not done traveling.
And he
yet.
just turns and he starts walking away back toward the Church of the Moon Maiden. This evening, Garrick.
It seems kind of counterproductive.
And you hear from on the side of the bar kind of a low chuckle. You really gonna take that, boy?
I look over.
You see a familiar red-haired older figure in a thick green cloak and a walking stick.
Oh, what are you doing here?
Now, I live here, you know that, boy. Why the hell you letting him talk to you that way? And Poth comes up, wrapping you in a big old hug. A very, kind of a hairy individual, hairy human like you, though the hair on his head and his beard has kind of turned that red silvery gray. It's nice to see you, son.
It's nice to see you, too. I really have to take a lot of things like that from you. I forgot who he was for a second.
Now tell me, what's all this going on with the church leaving town and all that?
I don't know.
I assume
the queen decided to kill the king, and the son decided that.
And he's like, shh, we can go in and have a drink and discuss this away from other hearing ears.
Well, everybody already knows. I don't know what the
They
big deal is.
do, but I hear you were in the castle at the time that it happened.
Well, I didn't do it.
I'm very thirsty. Come on, Gary.
Well, fine. I don't know why it's a problem for me. I didn't kill anyone.
It's not. He just doesn't, he's a very secluded type, doesn't like to speak openly about such things. But he leads you back in, you lead him back in as you've been staying here. Where do you go? There's 5 round tables in this establishment. One is occupied by a sleeping Talathor, another one by these 2 individuals, and then Ragna's back behind the bar.
I'm gonna go back to these 2, bring him over and introduce my uncle.
So okay, so he comes up to the table, and it's this older human man, little hairy, like big old scruffy beard, long hair where you can actually see a bit of his arms. It's a little, overgrown, we'll say. He's got a little bit of a hunch, and he walks with a slight limp, and that seems to be why he's using the walking stick. And it's actually been damn near 15 years since you've seen Poth.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So yeah, it's been a long time. So he does look much older. But he comes over and...
Did he used to have the walking stick before?
No, he didn't. So it seems that he does have a limp now for whatever reason. So who are these 2?
These are
individuals?
Well, I guess you could call them a friend. I've never really had friends.
Yeah, he's not really a guy who has friends. Tower and all that.
Are you my friend?
I consider you my friend.
Okay, then these are my friends.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I made friends.
I'm Poth, and
I'm Stoica. Nice to meet you.
I'm his uncle. Yeah. And Dwarven lady. Nice to meet you. I'm Poth.
Hi, I'm Gwen. You
Hi.
guys look really similar. Nice and fluffy.
We all a little fluffy.
Your beard could use some work. My people could teach you.
And he sits down, pulling up a chair. You think that they could do something with all this?
What's happened to your leg, Paul?
I fell down some stairs a couple years back, took a long tumble, and yeah, it's a little messed up now.
Has anyone tried to heal it before? Or?
Yeah, who needs healing? You know that I don't like clerics, no offense.
Well, I can.
But
would you rather walk around with a limp or not?
it actually kind of gets me things, and it gives you a wink.
Oh.
People like, the old, decrepit look sometimes.
It gets you pain in your leg.
Yeah, it gets me into places. We'll say. So, but
Like handicap spots?
There is a handicap wagon spot right outside this town that I sit in quite often, yes. But what I've heard around town is that 2 bodyguards and a cleric with your description apparently were in the castle during all the riffraff that went down.
Yes.
Is that true?
I was asleep with vomit on my shoulder.
He had a little bit
Really?
to drink that.
Yeah, I got to
Oh,
drink
you
for the first
partaking
time.
in drink, man.
Right.
Interesting.
It's a
He's
lot of
learning how to drink the dwarven way, and I'm going to slam my fist.
The dwarven way. That is very nice. Even though I have warned you quite a bit in the old days, about 15 years prior. Wow, it's been 15 years.
You
since
can
I've
understand
seen
why
you.
I have forgotten
Yeah,
some
you're
things.
a grown man now. You can do whatever you like, I guess.
Right. Apparently, I'm supposed to leave this evening and head back to the tower.
Wow.
He kind of,
You going to do that?
as you guys are saying, he leans over and he's like, I would stay away from those upstairs, though, son.
What's wrong with the ones upstairs?
Well, they might leave you itching, is all.
Well, I've already had a few instances with them upstairs. They haven't been itchy yet.
He's got the bugs.
Roll for itch.
He just kind of leans away, smiling.
I met one named Tessa. She was really nice. She didn't do things to me, though.
Tessa.
Yes.
I only know of one Tessa.
Yes.
Mhm.
I saw her earlier also in the castle. I'm not sure what she does, per se.
The princess was in the round troll upstairs.
Yes. In my room.
That's good to know. Good information to know. Something to look into, I guess. And he just kind of looks at you weird, like, what the hell is going
You
on?
could ask Camren. I'm sure he'd know.
Speaking of Camren, have you made your way down? Looking for your friends yet?
I'm in kind of like I
Do you have something you want to do in the castle?
No.
Okay.
Because I'm not allowed in the castle.
Yeah, you're getting your things and leaving. I just didn't know if there's anything you wanted to do before you left.
No, just I'm taking kind of a leisurely way there,
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, the
contemplating
scenic
what,
route.
This
what
was
the
a little
hell's
bit later
happening.
because they had to go and he had to get
The
his
scenic route
rapier and
that
all
got
that. So
king
you've
killed.
actually been looking around, and one of your first stops would have been the round troll. And looking in, you do see a passed out Talithor at one of the tables, and then the 3 individuals of which you know, and then followed by this older gentleman in a thick green cloak that's sitting next to Garrick. So if you wanted to enter, you could.
I'll go ahead and enter and say, "Morning."
Oh, speaking of the devil, here he
He
is.
turns and Poth turns and he actually rises from his chair and gives you a bow. Master Weavernbender, correct?
Yes,
I've
but-
seen you around. It's all right. I know you're of the castle, and he kind of stumbles back into his chair. Kind of
You can
grunt.
just call me Camren. What is your name, dear friend?
Poth? And he kind of reaches a hand out to you as you come by and shakes it. I'm this one's uncle.
Oh, I see.
We've
He
just
told me
been,
everything I know.
We've been discussing the oddities that have happened to the in the castle recently regarding the death of the king and apparently the queen stabbing him to death, which is crazy by anybody's ears.
A tragic event,
Very.
certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever it is just us four, though, however, no offense, my dear friend, but
Oh, if you have things to take care of, and he reaches over and puts his hand on your shoulder. I'm staying just down the street. I have a small home. I'm sorry that I haven't gotten to you sooner, Garrick.
Right, I forgot you
Well,
lived here. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time, but I will.
Sometimes
I
I
will find
forgot
you later.
what the sun looked like.
I will. Yeah. You okay?
No.
Well,
No, really.
Come find me later. We'll do some talking.
I'd love that. Thank you.
And Garrick, I recommend that maybe you don't go back tonight. I know your mother and father are so proud and all that, but
I don't really
you know
care.
my stance on it.
I love the Moon Maiden, and so more so than my mother and father.
As do I. But it seems that the church and the crown, there may be some hostility going further, and there's no reason for a young lad like yourself to be caught up in all that.
I love the Moon Maiden. I didn't say I love the church.
Well, we'll talk about it later. You guys have things to talk about. I'm just an old man with big ears, just prying where he doesn't need to be. No big deal. I'll see you later. And he stands
put my
up,
hand
gives
on
you
his
a bow.
shoulder first, and I say, "Come and pry anytime. I missed you."
I missed you too. Later, we'll talk.
Of course.
And he goes hobbling out of the round troll.
I could have fixed his leg.
He don't want your help.
He wouldn't
likes
let me
what that
fix it.
gives
He
us.
wouldn't let me
Sometimes
fix
people don't
his
want to
leg.
get fixed.
I want to fix something.
I want to fix something.
We got a buddy over here he could use fixed.
What does he need fixed?
Alcoholism.
Well, if you had told me that, I wouldn't have offered you the mead.
He
Just
tried.
add-
Roll,
You're not listening.
roll to heal alcoholism? Is that what you're asking?
I'm not asking that. I know that's not. I know that's out of my repertoire.
That may not be in the dice, my friend. That may be a hard thing to
You need
do.
a
Roll
therapist.
to give him hope.
If I was a bard, I could give you inspiration, but I ain't no bard.
Mm.
Anyway, Camren.
You're hearing loud snoring from the other table, from Talathor. Yes.
Screen's black.
Yeah, no, it'll do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
It's a screen
Yeah,
saver.
the screensaver will come up and then it'll go. The screen itself will go into sleep.
Is he by a window?
Hmm?
Is Bellathor by a window?
He's at the table right next to you guys, kind of in the middle of this place.
Oh.
So not right next to a window.
I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go right next to him and yell, "They're out of beer!"
And he's like, "Holy shit!" And he just throws the table up. Just because you scared the shit out of him. And he's like, he's standing straight for once. And his eyes are very beady, but they open. And he looks around. And he just slouches. Oh, you really out of beer? Ragnar?
Are you gonna pick the table up?
No. Okay. And he kind of like just sits in the chair that's still there.
You should really pick
Good morning.
You should really pick the table up.
I'm awake.
Morning, Talathor, as I go and pick the table up.
The table's on. Oh, he has to pick it up. He flipped it. It's only fair.
And he kind of droops, and you start hearing snoring again.
And I pick the table back up, and I'm like,
As his head's like leaning down, going back to sleep, you pick the table up, and it just kind of.
Is he always this drunk? Did you mean for Talathor to be a recurring character?
Maybe.
now, friends, I have some news.
I killed a dragon once.
Some good, some bad.
Well, okay, what's bad?
No, Ragnar, don't run out of beer. Please.
The bad news is, for today, we are not allowed near the castle.
Are we getting fired? Are we getting fired? Are we
No,
fired?
no,
Do I
no.
still get pay?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I've talked to Lord Thomas, and you are still being paid.
All right,
Continue.
Well,
I was
have
just moving it for her since she moved back a little bit.
I'll be back.
I have been
I'll be
appointed
back.
the king's advisor.
oh, your promotion. I guess.
Of
Why-
sorts, yes.
Why is the king's advisor not allowed in the castle?
Well, he's mulling some things over.
The king's advisor or the king?
Both.
Bit of both, probably.
I'm still really confused. The advisor's supposed to be next to a king, and you're not allowed in the castle. How can you advise from outside the castle?
Well,
He's in trouble and he's grounded.
Why is
His
the-
words, not mine, dear friend. However, the other piece of good news is that we have a house
oh,
that we are all welcome to stay in.
But I like the inn.
he needs to get away from the inn.
There
I
are
need
so
to
many
get away
pretty
from the
ladies
inn.
here. They don't care
Yes,
that I'm
there are a
hairy.
lot of pretty ladies here, about which I actually need to discuss with you how you came to know Lady Tessa.
She was in my room the first night you bought me a whore.
Very blunt.
And like hidden away, I'm like clenching my fist, and I'm like, I'm aware, Garrick. However, I need to know what transpired.
Well, she talked to me. She asked my name, then I asked hers, then she asked mine, then I asked hers, and then I think she asked me mine again, and then I told her my name. And after I told her, I caused thaumaturgy and caused tremors underneath Talathor. He's not waking up.
No. He's just kind of like.
You have to know the magic word, man.
I know the magic word. I'm a cleric. I just didn't say it.
As long as
But
nothing.
anyway, Tessa, she was there. She didn't do anything to me. I didn't do anything to her. I just asked her some questions. We chatted a bit. She let a woman out the window. Then she let a woman in the window. Then she went out the window. And then the women did things to me. Like first she started like unbuckling my pants.
Okay, we don't need to know.
Garrick, there are some things that not everybody needs to hear, but I'm proud of you, nonetheless.
Well, you asked in great detail. And I was trying to give you in great detail.
Yes,
Anyway.
Tessa is a rebellious one.
Have you tried this mead yet?
I'll take a sip of it, yes.
It's delicious.
I'm sure he's had it at least once.
I've had 3 tankards of mead already.
However, we do have a home at which we can stay in.
Keys, please.
Is there mead at the home?
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is, and if not, I will supply
mead.
some.
I like mead and wine, whiskey, beer. I like all of them, honestly.
Keys, please.
And then, on this ring of keys, are they all the same?
There's 2 keys.
Oh, 2?
They do look similar. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and hand you one, and I'll keep one for myself.
Good. Which direction?
Did he give me direction?
Mhm.
I'll
Would
go
you
ahead.
like to go to the house?
Yes.
Are you taking everybody to
Yeah.
show them where it's at? It's literally 2 blocks south from the Round Troll, off of the Market District.
Ooh,
It's
this
just
is
a
really
small-
close to the horse.
Small 2-story brick home. It's much nicer. I mean, it's one of the nicer houses, usually reserved for, like the lesser nobles when they're in Grayhalt, like for maybe their friends or close relatives, people that can't stay in the castle per se. They would stay in a home similar to this. So, Grayhalt B&B. Yeah,
Gotcha.
pretty much.
So, kiddo,
Where's the
I'm gonna teach you
Netflix
a rule.
password?
How old are you?
Me?
Yes,
Like 40 something?
40-something.
Garrick, don't you know
I'm a
not to
dwarf,
ask
we
a
don't
lady
count our
her
age.
age?
So, in actual
Even
talking,
if she
you
is a
go up
dwarf,
and- you go up
you
and-
never ask a lady her age. That is just rude.
Why? She could be 100 years old and still look really pretty.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm a dwarf. With my
as I
scruffy
open,
beard.
as I unlock the door and open it.
Okay. As you open the door and you step in, does everybody else go in?
Yeah.
No, I stand here.
You guys come in. It's just kind of it would be kind of like a small just entrance room. It's got a couch, and you see a nice little wine closet on the side. Not a wine closet, but a wine cabinet on the side. It seems that there has been crates of food, drink, and things like that that have just been placed on the inside here. Seems like someone from the castle, brought you guys supplies. At least it looks to be enough for about a week or so. You
knock
just
on
have
the
to
door.
move. None of it was put in the kitchen.
You don't have to knock, Garrick. You can come in.
I open the door. I peek in. You left me out there.
This is your home too.
No one told me that. And I shut the door.
Okay. Garrick's standing outside. He shut the door.
I open
Would
the door
somebody
again.
kindly help me move these provisions into the kitchen?
Yeah, I got you. We need to make
I open the door again and peek in. Can I come in?
Yes.
Okay, I come in.
Yes, Garrick,
I
you
shut
can
the
come
door.
in.
And so Stoica and Camren, you guys start putting up the food and stuff?
Yeah.
So off from the main room, over to the left, down the hallway and up, is a small kitchen. There's an ice box. place where you could set up and cook, like an old brick stove. Plenty of places and room for everything. You guys go about putting things up.
Does anybody want bacon? I can cook bacon.
We'll have dinner in a second.
I start cooking bacon.
Sure.
While
sure.
he's cooking bacon,
Sure.
I'm going
Roll
to teach
intelligence check. See if you can get the stove going.
9.
9. Having a rough go.
When he's not looking, I take a lighter
It
and
just-
I take like a match.
It just takes you a little bit longer, but yeah, with the aid of you get it going, and you.
Usually I burn it with magic. Okay.
Yeah. So you get the old brick oven going.
We're making baked bacon. Bacon. Bacon.
Baked bacon.
Bacon.
Baked bacon. Baked
You
can.
just gotta put emphasis on the bake to make it bacon.
There's a hearth in the corner. You could go over and light some coals, set a pan on it, and
Well, I'm
Fry
already
some
using
bacon
the
if you
oven,
want.
man. I gotta stick with my
think
oven.
of almost like a pizza oven almost. It's
Like a
kind of what
brick
it looks
oven,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, just a brick oven. So you were just lighting up some wood that was placed on the inside. You were just having a little hard time there first, but you come over and ate them. But yeah, there's a raised hearth that you could go over and sit pans on the hot coals and fry up food and stuff if you wanted to as well. But you start to make bacon. Yep.
I like bacon.
As we're all doing this, I'm like, tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to meet up with the king.
For what?
That's what he was told. Apparently, the way he sounded, wants me to participate in a sparring match with him.
He wants to beat you up. In a sense, and not like I'm gonna kill you, but it's like, sparring.
Hey Garrick, roll for me a perception check. As you're just gazing around the kitchen, you hear them speaking in the other room. What are you doing? Gwenn?
I'm with him.
Okay.
14.
She's watching you cook bacon. Go ahead and roll a perception check as well.
I have no perception.
Hmm.
Oh wait.
You sure?
Never mind, I do.
You're welcome.
What'd you get?
9.
9. And what'd you get?
14.
So Garrick, you're cooking the bacon. You got your back turned to the rest of the kitchen, but you hear breathing, and you turn and you see her. But there's a small table that's set up. Are you an open mouth dwarf breather?
Sure, why not?
Are you
So
looking
she's
at my
like-
ass?
No, I'm about to teach you a lesson.
About what?
Oh gosh.
I'm making bacon. How can you be mad at me right now?
frying pan, beat you over the head with it.
Dong.
You start to hear like the turning of a page, like parchment, almost like envision someone turning the page of a newspaper. And you glance over because Gwenn is much smaller than you. You glance over, and what you see is sitting up on the chair. It's leaned back a little bit, legs crossed, is a small gnome individual with bright green hair. I'll take some bacon.
Well, finally, somebody who
He
appreciates
kind of
bacon.
closes the book that he's reading, sits it on the table.
Anyway,
Please.
who are you?
Let's go ahead and take our first break.